Welcome to part 1 of the internet's Evilest Lesbians, a 3-part series revisiting allegations of abuse in lesbian relationships that didn't unfold in silence, but right in front of you. On your For You page, your Twitter timeline, your YouTube recommended. You watched, you liked, you shared, and then you scrolled. But what happened next? What happens when there's more to the story, but your daily dose of internet drama has already been met? What happens to the people we dissect for days, only to forget in a week? And when the outrage fades and the algorithm moves on, what part did you play? Hi, little gay people in my phone. My name is Nia, also known as @BitNia, and you may know me from my podcast series, Glass Closet, where I ask chronically online gay people chronically online gay questions. But today, my questions are for you gay people in my phone. The first one being, who is your favorite gay ship? For Tana, Catby, maybe you're into the classics. Any Bet and Tina stands? That's cool. Stick around. I support millennials. Megan and Graham from But I'm a Cheerleader? Or bonus points for their real-life actresses and lifelong friends Natasha Lyonne and Clea Duvall, if you, like me, refuse to accept this woman is straight? Well, what about real life? Who is your favorite real-life gay ship? I personally am committed to liking every photo of Niecy Nash and Jessica Bates that graces my screen. Renee Rapp and Tower Bird are legally my parents, and I am an Odessa Ozion, Quen Blackwell, Billie Eilish thruple truther. They're endgame to me. All that to say, queer representation has come a long way, both on and off screen. But entertainment has spanned far beyond it. Enter TikTok, home to the niche celebrity. The days of uniform internet fame are far behind us. There are people with millions of followers running full-on empires with merch and tours and book deals in corners of the internet I can't even conceptualize. But here at home, our little lesbian corner, we have our people.
And I wanted to start a new genre of music. And they said, what do you mean? And I said, well, it's called gay pop.
A couple months ago, I was on Reddit, and that was my first mistake. I made my first post in a subreddit for an artist I'm a fan of, asking if anyone had noticed she'd unfollowed and removed photos with a friend she had been rumored to be dating. And y'all, they ate me up. Why are we speculating on people's sexuality, such and such and such? Fair, my bad. Such is life that the second I dipped my toe into stan culture, now everybody's woke. But nonetheless, I agreed with the criticisms and took the post down, but not before some girl private messaged me to further the dialogue. She argued that my post was inappropriate and the artist had been vocal about wanting to dead the narrative around her sexuality. I told her I didn't know this, and there are photos of them publicly being quite lesbian about the situation, so I figured out and proud. Nonetheless, I'd already taken the post down, but now she's dragging it. I mentioned using Twitter, and now she's insinuating I'm a parasocial weirdo who's aligned with Nazism. So, at this point, I know she's white, but walk with me, I have a point. I agree that publicly speculating about celebrity sexualities does more harm than good. It's a lesson the internet has been forced to learn again and again, and finally, it seems like we're starting to get it, slowly. Still, her eagerness to morally condemn me struck a nerve. It felt arrogant, and to be honest, it felt white. And it turns out I was right. She later confirmed she was white, but accused me of strawmanning. What does race have to do with this? She asked. So I told her. I said, you have a morality complex. Not using Twitter doesn't make you inherently better than me, or more ethical. Opting out, in many ways, is a privilege. Not needing these platforms for mutual aid, for community, for survival. For people like me, black, queer, left-aligned, being online can be an integral resource. Is it ideal? No! These platforms are increasingly hostile, right-leaning, fascist and curious, algorithmically aggressive, but when no one's there to advocate against misinformation and bigotry, it's just an app full of misinformation and bigotry. And when I expressed interest in a certain celebrity's potential relationship, it wasn't because I wanted to violate her privacy. It was because she's black, and possibly gay. I'm also black, and certifiably gay. That kind of representation hits differently when it's so rare. So yes, I acknowledged the parasocial dynamic. I agreed it was good that people advocated for the artist's boundaries, but still, not too much from you, Miss Girl. And surprisingly, we found common ground. We both apologized. It was kind of beautiful. Faith in humanity restored, low-key. All that to say, parasocial relationships are a slippery slope. There are nuance, a delicate balance, a careful dance between subject and spectator, where a creator's livelihood depends on being pursued, but their sanity relies on keeping their audience at arm's length. And especially in communities starved for representation, it's human nature to crave, to care, to project, to find ourselves in someone we'll never meet because it means something to us, because frankly, we have less. Less media, less public figures, less representation, and the numbers only dwindle more when we factor in intersectional identities. But then there's the other side. The internet's growing quickness to condemn, to flatten people into villains, to write strangers off as irredeemable. In my opinion, it's unproductive, reductive, and honestly, dishonest. Dare I say, we all contain multitudes, even the people we wholeheartedly disagree with. The tension between these two impulses, the desire to connect and the arrogance to judge, is the groundwork of chronically online culture. A culture built on the illusion of intimacy and the delusion of total knowledge. We think we know someone because we've seen a slice of their life. We forget that a sample is not a whole. So when love feels too vulnerable, when admiration feels too complicated, where do these urges go? Who are we allowed to obsess over, dissect, and intrude upon in ways that turn cruel? I argue it's not the ones we love, but the ones we hate. So when it comes to allegations of abuse, even in, and maybe especially in, a post-Me Too society, I don't think we as a culture really know how to talk about it, not in a way that feels honest. It's a dynamic that's only possible within this weird digital space that mimics life, reflects life, documents life, but at the end of the day is not life. Words like accountability, cancellation, deplatforming are thrown around constantly, but what actually changes? Today's episode is about one of the rare moments where the internet seemed to do what it always says it will, hold an abuser accountable. But the aftermath, that's where things get murky. This is a story that asks a difficult question. When these things happen online, do we as viewers actually want accountability and justice, or just the illusion of it? Anna Campbell was a YouTuber active from 2009 to 2021.
Hello everybody, my name is Anna and welcome the fuck back to my channel. Today's video is going to be very different.
She's most known for creating content surrounding mental health, personal stories, vlogs, and famously becoming an alternate on Tana Mongeau's 2016 collab channel, Trash.
Hi, Trash. What up, compost? Welcome to the dumpster! And that was the point of this channel. I wanted to give smaller YouTubers a fucking chance, and I wanted to give real ass, normal ass, trash ass, awesome people that aren't afraid to say fuck, aren't afraid to fuck around, just awesome, dope, real, genuine individuals a chance.
Now, the 6-month rise and fall of the Trash collab channel is truly my Roman Empire. I can't believe people don't talk about this more. Like, remember when Tana got canceled in 2020 for racism again and released that robotic ass apology video? Yeah, that roots back to Trash, but that's for a different day. Today we're talking about the relationship between Anna Campbell and Natalia Taylor.
What's up, garbage?
There's gonna be so much lesbian footage in this.
All we have is each other.
Here's what you need to know. Firstly, I'm going to clarify, because I know how y'all like to fight, that I believe everyone involved in this narrative is bisexual, not a lesbian. I actually think Natalia Taylor no longer identifies as queer, but for the sake of simplicity, I'm gonna umbrella term it. Thank you. So, in 2016, Natalia Taylor already had a pretty sizable following. She auditioned for Trash and made the cut along with 5 other creators.
So if you're watching this video, that means you've made it all the way through 7 days of Trash. And first off, congratulations. Which is good, because if there are any one of us that's gonna make you want to unsubscribe from this channel, it's going to be me.
At the time, the potential to be on the Trash channel was shaking up what I would call the alt lifestyle comedy YouTube community. It was kind of a big deal. Thus, those that auditioned and didn't make it were left feeling, dare I say, salty. Thus was born 7 Days of Slay, a separate collab channel that was essentially marketed as the anti-Trash, made up of fan favorites that didn't make the cut. It was founded by Sierra Watts, who was a creator who'd built a following off of being a teen mom after a video of her talking about getting pregnant at 15 went viral in 2013. And dare I say, she had some motivation to get her views back up, but I digress. But that she did, because one of the 6 selects for 7 Days of Slay and rejects of Trash was Anna Campbell.
So hard for me not to be able to pick all of those people. I really want to tell you guys that I love Anna Campbell so much.
Now, there's these 2 channels with a decent amount of eyes on them that viewers see as in competition with one another. Notably, 7 Days of Slay was much smaller than Trash, but the people who knew. This is also the peak of YouTubers going live on We Now culture. Think TikTok Live before TikTok Live. So a lot of the drama is going down there as opposed to YouTube, and you really had to be there. But luckily for you, I was. In response to the growing narrative that Trash and 7 Days of Slay had beef, Tana organized a casual meetup between a couple members from each group to meet each other in LA.
We're looking for our place, like our Airbnb. So we're in the middle of a road. That's cool. That's normal.
Now mind you, no one involved is over the age of 24. Also, none of these people know each other at all. They're just a group of young content creators who are strangers who have now been thrust into public association with each other and are preparing to work together to grow these channels. Nonetheless, Anna Campbell meets Natalia Taylor.
Welcome to my castle. My name is Queen Natalia. This is my paparazzi. I have...
At the time, both of them have boyfriends and are in relationships, but it does not take long for it to become increasingly clear to friends and avid YouNow watchers, myself, that there's something going on between them. Lesbianly.
Figured, why not do the best friend tag, because she is my best friend!
Oh, so much! Best friends!
Best friends forever.
Okay.
Neither of them were out at this time, or to my understanding, even knew that they were queer. And to make a long, messy story short, Sierra Watts did in fact get her numbers up by essentially and allegedly accidentally outing them.
She had every intention of leaking that. She had every intention of exposing our sexuality.
She allegedly thought they were already out because, well, frankly, they were very lesbian about the situation.
But I also want to throw my money at you.
Whole bunch of drama, but at the end of the day, Natalia Taylor and Anna Campbell confirmed their relationship. Also, Anna leaves 7 Days of Slay and joins Trash as an alternate for when one of the mainstays had to miss a day.
That I am officially a part of Trash. Took a little longer than expected, but we did it.
But eventually she'd be like the only one posting on the channel, and 7 Days of Slay would also basically give up a couple weeks in.
Trash flopped once, and I'm not allowing it to continue to flop.
But again, different video. Anyways, people are obsessed with Natalia and Anna's relationship. I'm obsessed. They very quickly launch, or dare I say, U-Haul, into a couples channel known as Natana.
I'm Nat.
And I'm Anna.
And this is Natana.
Come on, Bane! Come and bang! Come and bang! Come and bang! Run and bang! Run and bang! Don't break the bed, Bane!
It's already broken, Bean.
Don't break it anymore!
I'm a bean, I'm a bean, I'm a bean.
My girlfriend's here!
I'm starting the series with them because this was my first experience becoming invested in a public lesbian relationship, and I find it unique because I wasn't searching for it. From my perspective, as a viewer who watched all of this unfold in real time, I wasn't looking for lesbian content. I knew I was queer, but honestly, I didn't really think about it much. As opposed to the famed tradition of looking up girls kissing when you're a teenager figuring out your sexuality, I stumbled across and into this living fanfiction.
Did you want to tell the first kiss story?
So the first kiss story happened when Anna and I met in LA. We initially became, you know, inseparable. I don't know, something felt different with you.
This was my first understanding of a lesbian relationship. Notable to me, especially considering it involved two women who were not publicly queer prior to meeting, two women who were newly out and had never been in a willow relationship before, much less a public one. I was around 15 when all this went down, and it was deeply formative to my understanding of what a sapphic relationship looked like, especially because it just happened and didn't feel like a big deal. Looking back, their story represented that sometimes you're just gay, and you don't know, and then you are.
I love her so much. I just knew in that moment in time that I had made the right decision for myself, and that's the life path that I wanted to choose. And it's really important that you make those decisions for yourself, even if they're really unexpected decisions.
Yeah.
And obviously there are bumps along the road, like getting outed by the leader of your nemesis YouTube collab channel, but in the end, you can be happy. It was its own insane, bizarre little lesbian love story. They had all of this contention around their relationship, and it seemingly concluded with cutesy vlogs and couples challenges. My little YA-loving, at the time bisexual 15-year-old heart couldn't help but stand. However, I was shocked while researching for this video to find that the Natana channel was only active for about 1 month. The channel lasted 1 month, June to July 2017. And looking back, I'm realizing this couldn't have been more reflective of the stereotypes associated with lesbian relationships. Anna and Natalia fell head over heels, essentially started living together, cohabitating, creating content together, intertwining their work lives, meeting each other's families, literally both ended previous relationships to be with one another, and explored this part of themselves. And then swiftly as they began, it all fell apart.
What's one thing you have learned about each other since living together that you didn't know before?
I've learned that the moments that I have with Anna where she frustrates me isn't necessarily always a bad thing. All things that she does for me are good. They're just tests.
By July 2017, Natana was over. The two seemed to end on good terms, and at the time didn't share extensive details regarding their split, but Anna did allude to still caring about Natalia, and this being, quote, what she needs.
How Ashley and I are now is not what I ever wanted. It's not what I ever expected, but it is what I understand that she needs. But Ash, if you are watching this right now, you know.
Also, in some of these clips, people refer to Natalia as Ashley. She had to change her name because her dad was stalking her. Different video, you had to be there. Natana was done, but Anna had found a new niche for her content, her girlfriends. To give a brief timeline of events, after Natalia, so late 2017, Anna dated lesbian YouTuber Elo Steph. Elo Steph was actually on my podcast. Go watch my episode with Elo Steph. She's lovely and wonderful. In early 2018, she dated Taylor Pendergraph.
2 years later,
Literally 2 years, like.
literally, she's from Ohio.
You guys ever kissed?
Never.
Never.
Who Anna had allegedly started messaging in early 2017 when Taylor was 18 years old and Anna was 24. Though at the time they met, she was still with Natalia and the two were just friends. After Taylor, Anna was with Kaylee Jade.
The only thing good that came out of 2020 was
No, don't move over, come back.
you.
Aww.
who she dated on and off from 2019 to 2021. All were figures within her content during their respective relationships, whether that be YouTube videos, live streams, Snapchats, Instagram posts. Anna was taking her followers into these relationships with her, for better and most definitely for worse.
I hate you. I hate you. I hope you are watching this, Anna, and I hope you know and I hope you hear in my voice that I hate you.
After this video, I will not be speaking on the name Anna Campbell ever again.
Once this video goes up, I'm going to tweet it, I'm going to put it on Instagram, I'm going to post it, and then that is it. You are never going to hear me say another word about this ever again, and I can't wait for that day to be here.
On June 29th, 2021, Natalia Taylor, Kaylee Jade, and Taylor Pendergraph posted a joint YouTube video titled "We Are Survivors."
This video is for anyone who is a survivor of abuse, male or female, publicly or privately, online or offline. You are not just a victim. We are survivors.
Where they detailed allegations of abuse that they suffered at the hands of their mutual former partner. The video has since been taken down, but according to Business Insider, remember that, it'll come back later, Natalia Taylor alleged Anna weaponized suicide and enabled her into a drug addiction that would eventually lead her into a mental health crisis that she then reveals is what ended their relationship in 2017.
Anna Campbell claims to be a mental health care professional, but was aware that I fell into a drug-induced psychosis while in a relationship with her. Anna Campbell filmed videos of me using hard drugs without my knowledge or permission,
And sent them to me while I was still in high school, glamorizing the use of hard drugs. This was 5 years ago.
Taylor Pendergraph alleged that Anna weaponized her fans against her, gaslit her, and raped her while she was too intoxicated to consent.
Anna let out her aggression towards me and our belongings. Anna Campbell raped me,
as well as enabled her into psychedelic drug use that would exacerbate her mental health issues. Kaylee Jade alleged that Campbell was physically abusive, sharing images of bruises on her arms and legs, as well as videos purportedly showing the aftermath of physical altercation.
You could have just sat there and said, guys, yes, I put my hands on Kaylee. I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to get off YouTube. That's what you should have done. That's what you should have done. But instead, you set up on here on your camera, and you're like, sorry, I hate Kaylee because of this, and this, and this, that, and this, and it's all because of drugs, and drugs ruin your life, and blah, blah. Yeah, drugs do ruin your life, but guess what? I was on all those same drugs, and I never hit Anna one time.
She claimed that Campbell threw her to the ground and restrained her during disputes, as well as accusing Campbell of introducing her to drug use, claiming they once consumed 80 Xanax pills over a 5-day period. The next day, Maddie Grossman, a former fan turned friend of Campbell's, would come forward in her own video, detailing an experience of being groomed and manipulated by Campbell while she was a minor. Anna responded in a video called Dear Natalia Taylor, (The Truth), as well as a series of other social media posts attempting to clear her name. According to Business Insider, quote, Campbell denied the most serious allegations, including rape and grooming. However, she acknowledged certain behaviors, admitting to being, quote, toxic and engaging in drug use with her partners. In a since-deleted YouTube video, she stated, I really see how toxic of a person I am and how I ruin everybody around me because of my own selfish patterns and habits. She would also send cease and desist letters to all 3 of her former partners in a tactic she claimed was not her trying to silence anyone, but stating, quote, I need to take legal action for my future. You have undertaken an extensive online campaign against Campbell by asserting false and defamatory claims about her, including representing that she is a rapist, a pedophile, and other falsehoods. Explosive allegations, reckoning of public figures, and the solidarity of women with a shared trauma. Needless to say, fans guffawed, but the solidarity was short-lived. By August, Natalia Taylor, Taylor Pendergraph, and Kaylee Jade had a public falling out on Twitter due to alleged misappropriation of funds secured by Taylor through a GoFundMe created to support their joint legal case. Taylor would deny these allegations and state publicly she'd be pursuing her case alone. Nonetheless, if their goal was to see Anna deplatformed, they had succeeded. The tides were turned, and Anna was not helping her case. Trisha Paytas mentioned in one of her vlogs that she'd be speaking on the allegations in one of the episodes of her podcast.
There's drama I want to talk about, and I need to delve more into it, but Anna Campbell, okay, so I followed her and Natalia Taylor, and I'm just not, I have to delve into it. Obviously, there's some ish going on there.
Prompting Campbell to comment back, basically insinuating, bitch don't, which obviously didn't go over well with Paytas, who did in fact still speak on it on the Frenemies podcast while it was at its peak. Then Anna sued her. All of this happened back in 2021 and was covered extensively online. So pause. What do we have here? Brother, a mess, a public ass mess. Four narratives, lots of pain, two huge influencers loosely linked to the situation, only propelling it into the stratosphere, and millions of eyes watching it unfold like a bonus season of the fucking L Word. Due to the nature of this debacle, information was everywhere. Allegations were everywhere, tweets, YouTube fucking series, crying live streams. I can't imagine the emotional realities of the people involved, much less having the opinions of thousands weighing in on the daily. Just altogether, this wasn't even something I personally could even follow or keep up with at the time, and looking back, that seems sound on my part. I think it's very normalized for things like this to become people's personal passion projects, following the case, keeping up with all the parties, writing think pieces, and I get it. That's the culture. But in this case, none of the people directly involved had groundbreakingly large platforms. The details were spread all over the place and dense to internalize. And at the end of the day, believe victims and scroll. So I did. However, the thing the chronically online hate to see most in their daily dose of internet conflict and publicized trauma becomes incredibly apparent in this case. Nuance. Buckle up, because we're about to get real journalistic, y'all. I was in those court records, and this is probably the part of the story that you don't know.
Haley was on FaceTime with me when I was having that crazy breakdown, and I threw the chair. And after I did that, I was like, fuck. I was like, I fucked up. I just traumatized her. Like, now she's never going to forgive me. Now she's going to think I'm crazy and blah, blah, blah. And I just freaked out. She didn't give a fuck. She was like, you're mad. Like, people do things when you get mad. Like, it's okay. Like, just try not to do it again. And I was like, damn.
It's 2022. 1 year post the We Are Survivors video, Anna Campbell has filed and is actively pursuing a defamation lawsuit against Natalia, Taylor, Kaylee, and Trisha Paytas, which is so Nicole Raffi coded. Like, she's genuinely everywhere. The accusers had filed for restraining orders. There's thousands of pieces of discovery, including tweets, texts, videos, full-on legal battle. But in the court of public opinion, this case was over. Anna Campbell was off the internet, and to the casual viewer, she was guilty as hell. However, during a 2022 deposition, Maddie, the woman who'd made the video alleging Anna groomed and manipulated her as a 16-year-old, would state, Anna Campbell has never abused me. She has always cared about me greatly and treated me like a younger sister. Since I was very attached to Anna and not used to having an adult love/care about me, I can admit that I had some unrealistic expectations and figured that she would never make a mistake. Thus, if she ever unintentionally upset me, it felt like the end of the world to me, and the emotional pain was seemingly unbearable. However, this was not because Anna was abusive, this was because of my BPD and inability to regulate my emotions. Anna never intentionally upset me and always tried to show me how much she cared about me. She is a human being and not exempt from making mistakes, and I had a hard time accepting that when I was younger. Ashley Fiesel, Natalia Taylor, Taylor Pendergraph, and Kaylee Pillow took advantage of me and used the knowledge of my childhood trauma and BPD to convince me that Anna abused me and groomed me. My vulnerability, combined with their powerful manipulation and brainwashing skills, is what made me believe these things.
I have not been this, done up in forever.
It's so cute. The waivers
the waivers
so great.
And that. And we're all wearing black. Look at that. Yeah.
Now that I can think for myself and no longer associate with those girls, I can say unequivocally that Anna never abused or groomed me. She also paints a very strong picture and weighs some pretty serious allegations against Natalia, claiming she essentially masterminded a smear campaign against Anna with intentions rooted in malice and vengeance more than awareness and accountability, as was pushed publicly.
Anna Campbell, you are the common denominator, but we are here today to show that recovery is possible for you and for anyone.
She's by far the most insane person I've ever met in my life. If I could tell her one thing, ever again, it would be that you are the most insane person I've ever met.
Maddie claims Natalia made phone calls to pharmacies in Massachusetts to block Anna from accessing her medication and to falsely accuse her of prescription fraud with the aim of getting her jailed. She claims she forced Maddie to wear childlike clothing and instructed her to appear younger in court to portray Anna as a predator, coordinated with Kaylee, Taylor, and Maddie, and apparently also Sierra Watts, because damn, okay, sure, to have Zoom calls with the drama channels that reported on it like Ready to Glare, Repsion, Repzilla, and Sloan, as well as the Business Insider journalist Kat Tenbarge, who I quoted 5 minutes ago, to push a narrative about Anna online and through news outlets. To my knowledge, none of the channels made it clear in their videos that they had been pitched the story by the affected parties, and Natalia even commented on Sloan's video, quote, "You are one of the only YouTubers I actually watch. I don't think it's a coincidence you chose to make this video. Words can't describe our appreciation." So take that as you will. Maddie also claims that Natalia contacted YouTube and OnlyFans to try to get Anna banned or demonetized, and reportedly coached her and others on what to say to police, judges, and journalists in order to maximize the chance of incriminating Anna.
They all, just to be clear, they all took advantage of me. Not just one of them. They all did. I don't want anything to do with any of them ever again. It was not just one person. there was a ringleader, and we all know who that was, but they all took part in it. Like, when someone with like power or influence like that, like, specifically reaches out to me, promising me safety and security and like just all these things, like, of course, like, I'm gonna trust them. Like,
she also claims Kaylee's story of physical abuse by Anna changed multiple times, and at one point Kaylee claimed it may have been a drug-induced false memory, and that Taylor is obsessed with Anna and her allegations of SA were false. That same court document includes a transcription of Taylor Pendergraft's from a September 21st, 2022 deposition, in which, when asked about her accusations of SA against Anna, she'd state, "I definitely felt like I was using the right term, but I started to realize over time that even though I felt like what happened that night wasn't necessarily right, I felt like I still always believed that Anna was not a rapist deep down. I think it was just a big miscommunication that we never got to work out because our entire fight was on social media. It was for the public to see, and we never were able to have that healthy conversation because of the situation that we are both in." When asked if Campbell was an abuser, she would respond, "I think we were both toxic. We were just unhealthy. Depends what you look at it. There were definitely things that I have done that may be taken as abusive, and there's definitely things that Anna did that were not the healthiest, but I would never really consider her to be abusive. I just think we were both toxic." When asked if, to her knowledge, Anna Campbell ever had relationships with minors, displayed attraction to minors, or hit her, she also replied no. She also expressed similar sentiments around Natalia being controlling, manipulative, and disingenuous about her intentions. When filming the We Are Survivors video, Taylor expressed she thought the goal was to make Anna better by showing her the error of her ways and advocating for her to get help. It became apparent to her that Natalia's was vengeance. When asked about Natalia, she stated she was like, pretending that she actually wanted to do something good for people. That was never the case. She just wanted to be the one to actually do it. She wanted to say, "I put Anna in jail." She basically just wanted the last laugh, like she was more powerful than anybody. I kind of slowly started to realize that this wasn't about getting Anna help. It was about ruining her life. They were very evil people from my own personal experience. People I did not want to be around. She also claimed that there was an argument where Taylor kicked Natalia out of her house, and that is what prompted Natalia to publicly and falsely accuse Taylor of misappropriating GoFundMe funds, and alleges that all of that was a lie to turn the tides against her. Now, okay, well, firstly, I think it's fair to say that both Taylor and Maddie had conversations with Anna prior to making such boldly contradictory statements to their initial claims from a year prior. And Taylor says as much. She starts the deposition by saying they'd had a 4-hour conversation 2 weeks before, that she had initiated, and they'd talked about 20 times since then, but not about the case, just catch-ups. But wow, what a switch up. Both of them expressed seeing nuance in the allegations made and a sentiment of being taken advantage of by Natalia. I do want to clarify that as far as Taylor's accusations of SA against Anna, she does uphold that she was blackout drunk and unable to consent. However, it seems they clarified in their conversation prior to this deposition that Anna was unaware that Taylor was blackout because she was coherent. This is complicated and loaded, but Taylor's feelings about it are honestly the only feelings that matter, in my opinion. When asked about the inconsistency from her prior depositions, as well as if Anna or her attorneys had applied pressure for her to change her statements, she denied, claiming, "It wasn't about like coming to a compromise. You say this, and then I'll do anything. We never had a conversation like that. After I had told her that I was calling her and I didn't want to talk about the lawsuit and I didn't want her to drop me, I just genuinely wanted to talk to her. She said that she always knew deep down that I never wanted to harm her and that she believed throughout this case that I didn't belong in this lawsuit from the start." It's also stated in this court document provided by Anna's legal counsel that a voice note exists where Natalia states, "There were points in this where we genuinely wanted revenge on Anna, and we should have just had better intentions," and that she wanted Anna to, quote, "get off the internet." And that she did. Anna had long since deleted her Twitter, removed a majority of her YouTube videos, and has virtually been totally private since the peak of the situation 3 years ago. She alleges in her suit that the situation caused her severe emotional distress, leading to thoughts of suicide and several stints in mental health facilities over the course of this unfolding. According to state documents from the state of Massachusetts Superior Court, as of January 20th, 2023, the court granted a request from all parties for the case to be dismissed with prejudice, meaning Anna is able to refile or reform her claims and in the future, reopen the case. And it is noted that all parties came to a settlement outside of court, and that is stated in the last publicly available record regarding this case. So what do we make of this? Personally, I wasn't aware of any of the 2022 developments in this case when I started writing this script. To my knowledge, none of the drama channels or the journalists who reported on it initially followed up about it. I discovered all of this by sifting through public court records from 3 years ago, and it was jarring as hell. I thought this was going to be a discussion about the rare success of deplatforming an evil person. And the fact that I thought that and it's not tells me a hell of a lot more about the point I'm actually trying to make and my own personal culpability within it. I'm honestly uncomfortable with the idea that this story could be used to refute the principle that we should believe all victims who come forward. We should. And from at least from what I've seen online, the people who receive the most negativity when allegations like these are made public are the accusers. The internet is a hostile place, and the world at large hates women. And I'd personally rather believe a liar than a rapist. Nonetheless, I don't think this story is necessarily antithetical to that idea. Obviously, the statements can be held in contempt within the public court of opinion because, well, it's valid to speculate if they were manipulated into making these statements by the person they both widely accused of manipulating them. That possibility should always be on the table. But so should the idea that this was a complex, deeply flawed situation in which all parties may hold fault. And I'm inclined to believe the latter, not only because they were under oath, but also because that sounds human. To be clear, I have no interest in exonerating Anna Campbell, and that's not what this video is meant to be. Inappropriate messages to fan group chats that included minors happened. The photos and videos of bruises on Kaylee's body exist. The enabling of substance abuse remains a serious allegation. These claims have not been publicly retracted by the people who allege them. However, I think there is space and probably a lot of truth to the idea that all parties were victims of this situation in one way or another. Victims of themselves, victims of one another, victims of us even, as viewers. The depositions clearly paint Natalia Taylor in a very ethically gray light, but I don't have any interest in morally condemning anyone involved, because the real thesis of this video is, frankly, that I was not there. This literally has nothing to do with me. And my main takeaway, which I'm sure many of the people actually involved would echo, is that this should have never been taken to the internet. Now, I don't say that to imply that survivors shouldn't look to the internet as a tool and a place of reckoning when it comes to community safety or the failures of our legal system. Just that we, as viewers, need to have cognizance. Anna Campbell is not Joe Goldberg. We cannot hear her inner monologue. We don't know what went through her mind at any given moment. We don't know if she meant to cause harm. We don't know if she's deeply evil and sadistic or just very mentally ill or both or neither. And we never will know. We will never know all sides. And that is the truth. It doesn't mean you can't or shouldn't have a take or an opinion based on what's in front of you, or that you should or shouldn't believe any one person making or disputing a claim. There just needs to be more of an acknowledgement online that you are watching a person on a screen. You will sit with that person for an hour or 15 minutes or 60 seconds and go on about your day. They will not. They will live with what they shared forever because it's not a story to them. It's their life. It can shift, it can deepen, it can fracture and heal, but you will only have one moment in time, one snapshot of what they felt. Unless they come back with a breaking my silence a la Tati Westbrook. But even that's a performance, that's content, that's not life. And that's not a character, that's a person. And most importantly, that's a stranger. I understand why we do it, especially when it comes to situations that involve marginalized communities. This situation is unique in the sense that it's queer as fuck. It's so deeply sapphic. I'm invested in it to a more severe degree because to an extent I feel like I'm in it. This could happen to me, or maybe for some of you it feels like it has. I can hold this, I can claim this, I can critique this, I can invest in this personally as if it's happening to me because, well, I'm not seeing me anywhere else. This is the closest thing to me. But just because it's understandable, just because it's human, doesn't make it fair or right. I mainly side-eye the drama channels and Business Insider journalists who jumped on the story with no intention of following it as it developed. It's irresponsible and opportunistic. Videos and articles are out there with millions of views, purporting a narrative that will forever represent one moment in time, not allowing it to shift, not allowing it the depth it's clearly due, not allowing the story to take the shape of what all of this really is. Life. Not content, not entertainment, life. It's not a Reddit thread, a response video, or the 18,000 pieces that were in Discovery that were low-key the reason that they dismissed this case, because no one was trying to look through all that. Like, at the end of the day, the heart of the story is a 4-hour phone call with your ex where you just say, damn, this shit is crazy, and I care about you. Nonetheless, it was symbiotic toxicity. Anna, Natalia, Taylor, Kaylee, and Maddie used us as a tool, and we, in turn, used them as entertainment. And maybe that's just what the internet does. It extracts the most digestible version of a complicated truth and sells it back to us as a drama. What I do know is this. We are all people capable of harm. We've all done things we regret. That being said, the people who act a fool online do serve a function. They give us space to learn, to discuss, to interrogate ourselves, but that's all they are, proxies. Stand-ins for our own lived experiences, for what we project onto them, and for what their story reveals about the world and about ourselves. My personal practice When I see someone come forward with a traumatic experience or being harmful or doing too much on social media, is to receive it. Listen. Share words of kindness and support if I feel so inclined. Share critique if I feel it's productive to that person's growth or the growth of others. And move on. Because at the end of the day, that shit has nothing to do with me. And I'd argue the reason investing in situations like this can feel so enthralling, so all-consuming, so cathartic is because they don't have shit to do with us. These things are impactful, addictive, viral, because we can control them. We can control our proximity to them. We can close our phones when it gets upsetting. We can unfollow when we're no longer interested. In a way we can't in our real lives. It's through these online public reckonings that we as viewers can release all of the incredibly valid anger we have at a former lover, at an ex-friend, an acquaintance, a stranger, a harmful person in our real life who hurt us or someone we cared about and faced zero consequences. People love to say, cancel culture isn't real, but don't question why the fact that accountability doesn't seem to actually be happening hasn't stopped us from trying to cancel people. And that's because there's a catharsis in cancel culture. It's a feeling of freedom, of having a voice, of having a community who believes you and who aligns with you. A feeling of vindication that many of us don't get in real life. But it doesn't actually give us that. It can't. It just gives us the illusion of that. I hope it's clear that this video, the point I'm making, the ethos I'm trying to communicate is not rooted in trying to absolve or condemn or even reignite this controversy in any way. This isn't even about them. The truth is, the internet's evilest lesbians don't exist. Or at least they wouldn't if we didn't make them. But nonetheless, I'll see you for part 2. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.